Our special meeting. Going to call to order. Have a roll call, please.
Brianna Beckfield. Stacy Barker.
Here.
Scott Kraft.
Present.
Kenny Littlefield.
Here.
Haley Darnell. Here.
Okay. So we'll declare this a quorum. Item 2, discuss a possible action to approve minutes of a November 30th, 2023 special meeting. We have a motion to approve those minutes.
Stacy.
Second.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ayes have it. We're now going to enter a public hearing. You have to have a motion for the enter. Yeah. Need a motion to enter a public hearing.
Motion to enter public hearing.
The second? Second. Okay. All opposed? Okay. So we are in the public hearing. Applicant Colton David for owners of property Pillar Carrillo and Abel Carrillo Barujas for 2 vacancies. First one, vacancy of the front property from 25 feet to 11 feet, varying for the back property from 20% setback due to the angle of the rear property line. Legal, that part of a lot 5 is block number 16 in the incorporated town of Pryor Creek, Mace County, Oklahoma, according to the United States government survey and plat thereof, more particularly described as follows, to wit, beginning at point on the westerly line of said lot 5, block 16, a distance of 4.25 feet, northeasterly on the southwest corner thereof, thence easterly a distance of 48.45 feet, more or less, to a point on the east line of said lot 5, block 16, 18.82 feet north of the southeast corner thereof, thence north along said east line of distance of 44.37 feet to a point, thence west on a straight line a distance of 35.2 feet to a point on the westerly line of said lot, which point is 50.45 feet northwesterly from the southwest corner of said lot. Then southwesterly along said westerly line, a distance of 46.2 feet to the point of the place of beginning, which is 114 North Elliott. So I need a motion to exit the public hearing.
Well, first you'll, I believe, listen to the fors and the againsts.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so we're going to start with the people that are for this motion. Do we have anybody that's wanting to speak? Okay,
You can come on
out.
to the mic. Tell who you are.
Hello, my name is Pilar Carrillo. I'm actually the owner of the lot, so we would like to build a house for me and my brothers to be able to live in. That's what we want to do with the house.
Okay. Are you for?
I'm not for or against, but I would like to question.
We can do that in a minute. Anybody else for? Okay. Anybody against the measure? Okay. You can come one at a time.
My name is Jerry Taylor, and property I own is across the alley from this property. And the question I have is the alleyway between this lot that's being described and my lot, which faces Hogan, is the lot they're looking at is sort of diamond shaped, as I understand it, and it terminates as part of the alleyway. And I don't know what changes this variance makes, but I'm concerned that it doesn't leave the right-of-way properly for the alleyway, because you have the trash people coming through there, and I'm not sure there's enough room there, because you end up going off of this diamond-shaped property onto the church concrete, and I'm not sure they like that. I mean, I don't know, but I think we need to consider how that alleyway is affected by the variance. And I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a real estate guy, I couldn't read all that stuff any better than you could. So I'm not sure exactly how that affects that alleyway, but I would like for it to be considered, looked at and considered.
Okay. Thank you. The first person opposed?
My name is John Pryor, and I am the property owner on the north and south sides of this lot, or half lot. And I've got a few concerns I'd like to bring up about it when we get to the question part.
Okay. Do you have a statement as far as why you're against it at this point?
Well, I've got about four or five different points to bring up on it. Parking is one, fire hydrant, an overhead electric line. And if they have to build up a pad in there, where's that water gonna run, on my two lots? I mean, you know,
It's a flood zone, right?
well, no, I don't think I'm in a flood zone there.
I think that property is in a flood
But
zone.
the property right there,
It's a
anytime it
yes.
rains, water stands in there. And
I have that.
I've just got a few concerns about that, whether it's gonna come over on my property if they
Right.
build the pad up for the house.
Okay.
And then the parking in the front, if that's where they're gonna park, I don't know where they're gonna park. But it's gonna block the vision north and south, like when I gotta back out on Elliott Street, and I can't see up the street. And my rent house is the same deal, they can't see south. And coming from the east, we've got a second street and it dead ends almost right out there in it, almost. So I've got a few concerns because the traffic we got on Elliott Street, we don't need to add to the problems. We
Exactly.
got backing out on the street. So I've got just, you know,
Okay.
so that's what I've got to say.
All right, thank you.
I have some of the same concerns, but my property is within the 500-foot zone also, but it's a rent house and it's across the street. It's not going to be affected by a structure, but what will be affected, it will be some of the concerns of the parking in that area and people calling me constantly as the code enforcement officer about people parking in the alleyway. There is no parking barely, if there's any. And eventually they'll be parking in the alleyway, blocking that alleyway behind there. To park up front, they may have enough room for a small vehicle, but then it puts it right next to the fire hydrant, which is, by city ordinance, 15 feet from the city ordinance, you have to be parked away from the fire hydrant. And I don't think there's gonna be enough room there either. So that's another concern. That's pretty much, the main thing is the parking on my part as the code enforcement officer, not as the property owner, is what I'm speaking as.
Who does the driveway belong to to the south?
That's
of the
gonna belong
property?
to John Fraley,
So that is not part of the property?
not at all,
Okay.
not at all. And it's, I think it, well, I don't know, I'm something else.
Okay. Anybody else? Wait a minute. We're not to you yet.
I was just gonna shed some more light on it.
Let's get into the discussion first. Because that's the for and the against, and now we're gonna we're gonna into the public, okay? So now we're gonna exit the public hearing.
Need a motion?
Need a motion?
Second.
All right, so now we're gonna have the discussion.
Need to vote?
Okay, need a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Thank you.
opposed? Thank you. Number 4, discussion and possible action on public hearing on Colton Davis for owners of property Pilar Carrillo and Abel Carrillo Barajas, who are requesting 2 vacancies, variance from front of property from 25 to 11 feet, variance from back of property 25% setback due to the angle of the rear property line. You supposed to enter a public hearing again?
No. No, now you can discuss.
That's what I thought. Right, so now we can have a discussion. Do we have anybody from the city here that has any comments?
Just a little bit more information about this lot. It's in a RM zone, which requires a 6,000 square feet. Of course, this is a smaller, it's roughly, I'm guessing about 1,900 square feet, so a third of the size. As Trent's brought up, I've got issues about parking. I don't know where they would actually park if they use the alleyways. Eventually, that's going to start giving away and stuff on there. I don't know if they actually got room to park, especially if they got two vehicles. I don't know where they're going to park and stuff on there. This does lie in X as far as the flood zone. There's, according to the plot survey that we have, there's no utility easements. The power lines and in the back where the gas line and stuff is, there's nothing across this property that has utility easement there. Yes, there is. The electric lines do run on the south side, but because there's not an easement there, we really can't bring that into play for them. With it, it is a small house, about 600 square feet that they are wanting to build, and we'll be happy to work with them, do what we can. But by the same token, if Elliott Street, people pulling out, if there's cars there, it's going to block vision. If Elliott Street ever gets widened, like South Elliott did,
There's no room.
then those houses are going to have to come out of there, because they're not the 25-foot
Yeah.
setback on there. So, we do have a lot of concerns. Safety's number one. We want to do what's right, but by the same token, we'd like you all to really think about this one. And I don't want something that we do this and then a year down the road, somebody comes up and says, well, we've done it for this, do this, and causes more troubles, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, it is in an X flood zone. It is REM rated, but it's about a third of the size.
Do you have a
But
picture, do you have a picture of the layout, the way it's gonna be?
This is what they presented to us right here.
So where's the house that's there now?
Oh, there's not a house on the lot. The lot
Empty
is
lot,
vacant.
yeah.
It's empty.
Mhm.
Is it the one
So-
that's between the house and the church?
Well, it's between the two houses there. There's a house here on the south side and a house on the north side.
And are the stakes the perimeter of the building, the
That-
house that would go in?
Stakes
No, I
are
think
the
that's
property.
lot. That's the property lot.
Okay,
It's what those
okay.
stakes that you all see.
Okay,
But here's the overhead lines that he was referring to, that run, here, or right here, I'm sorry. There's a fire hydrant. It's somewhere in that location. I wish they had shown that so that we would have had a
Yeah.
better idea. But like I say, you come in from the alley and if you park there, that thing's gonna get torn up. And really, 11 feet to park a car, have the doors open,
yes,
it's
yes.
gonna be a tight fit there on the
Yeah,
front.
that's safety. There's a
And-
safety issue there.
And I don't think you'd really want to park in the front.
Yeah,
But the back, I'm afraid they would partially block the alleyway in case of emergency, fire truck or something
Exactly.
like that
right.
on there. I just wanted to bring this to your all's attention, what we're seeing.
So with this lot, this is a separate lot. This is a 1,900 square foot lot.
Roughly speaking, around 1,900 square feet is what I figured up on the thing. And like I say, it's a third of the size that an RN lot normally is.
And how about the fire hydrant?
But that's, like I said, I wish they had shown that on that, but they didn't. And
So the fire hydrant is right by the street.
the fire hydrant is, yes, right over here. 'Cause
Right in
this is
here.
overhead line, somewhere right in that area is the fire hydrant and stuff.
And this
So-
is Elliott right here,
No, Elliott's right here.
right here, okay, okay.
Here's the alley. This is the overhead lines. And like I say, I know there's gas meters somewhere back in here. But like I said, this is just one of those, it's just a small lot. It's, as long as I could ever remember, it's always just been a lot.
Only a 600 square foot house, that's a small house.
Mhm. And, but I just want to shed some more light for you all to.
If you if you can go to the website, it's in the packet on the website. If you call me tomorrow, I can tell you how to get to that.
So this side's 11 feet, is that right?
Yes, this is what they're, it's
I can,
25 feet.
or if you want to wait at the end of the meeting, I can get
That's
you.
what they're, because they can't meet.
So from the
25.
edge of the house to the edge of the property is only 11 feet,
It's 11 feet.
or from the house to the,
20?
To the curb, right?
yeah, to the-
Well, not necessarily to the curb, it's the property line. It's
Okay.
what
So-
they're measuring from.
so that's where the sidewalk would, so it goes to the sidewalk? 11
There's no
feet?
sidewalk there.
No, but I mean, isn't there an easement for the city?
There's,
No, they're not there.
They're not showing anything.
Oh, okay.
That's why and they made a statement in here that no easements were shown and stuff. So I don't know if there is any other easements, but this is what we acquired, and this is what part of our decision that we do as far as the
Right.
house and
This
stuff
is
goes on.
one of the drawings that we.
So the driveway would be here,
Which is the,
in front of here.
Yeah, would have to be somewhere,
that's got
and
a
like I
big
say,
triangle
stay
around it.
15 feet away from
You see that
this.
triangle?
yeah,
There almost isn't any room for a driveway.
Right, yeah, if
Between
you
these two
open up both
houses.
doors,
Yeah,
so it's a vacant lot.
want to be hitting their house
And I
and
don't,
if somebody's not
I
paying
Yeah.
honestly thought that was,
on Elliott, but like say you really don't have room in the back.
Yes.
right.
And if they're,
Yeah.
so what, so there's.
I've never seen a driveway put like that
That's
though
what
either.
I thought they were talking
Oh, no, it's this
The
empty
only way
lot.
would be, the only way would be to have the driveway
Oh,
coming
wait a
in.
minute, you got,
Yeah,
Going out.
I mean, it's the only way.
But then you're gonna be,
it could be like a circle drive
thank you.
on there,
No, oh, no, oh, no,
Yeah,
oh, no,
but you
oh,
could
no.
have it,
room
you could
for
have it
that.
this way, you could have it running this way.
but they would have to back out, you know,
Would-
because of the fire hydrant.
But you wouldn't be backing out on, yeah, you'd be backing
Yeah,
out
you'd
on
be
Elliott that
backing
way.
out on Elliott.
And Elliott, sure would. And then you can't do the alley back here, cause that's just,
Yeah, the alley, and like I say, if you constantly, somebody's driving, when we have rain or snow and stuff, that's gonna be a muddy mess back there.
Well, and you know, that corner right there, you gotta realize that's only 6 feet out. 14 on this side and 6 feet there, so, and then there's the alleyway, and like this gentleman said, you know, it interferes, it compromises their property. There really is a safety issue here.
yeah.
Right,
It
if a
needs to
fire
be
truck has to
considered.
Get down there,
Yeah,
you know, one on,
Cause to be
Or
honest,
if they have a big, if they have a big truck.
I mean, I agree with you, you know, to work with them, however, I know it's a small house anyway, and to try to work with them, but it's gonna have to be made smaller if, I mean, that's a lot
because,
of
because
compromise.
you know what they're gonna do, they're gonna park on the street. I can tell you what's gonna happen. They're gonna park on the street.
Well,
I'm just telling you, that's what's gonna happen. And then you're gonna have a traffic issue down there, and especially because you got school down there.
guys are
Yeah,
gonna be busy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but it's not, but it's open parking though. It's not where it's not where they can't park in front of it.
Yes, sir. Can they park on South or North Elliott?
How about the distance from a corner?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Because, you know, Second Street or First,
It would definitely cause a traffic
you
hazard.
know,
Oh,
yeah,
I
it
understand
definitely
that,
would.
But is there something that says they can't park within so many feet of a corner? Or,
They have to park, I think it's like 30 feet from like a stop sign. There's no stop sign there. Well, except for across the
there should be.
right across the street.
but there's a fire hydrant there, so they can't park.
So they can't park on that side, very much unless there's room in the front yard somewhere. And and once they park in the front yard, then they're too close to the fire hydrant. I don't know that we have anything that says they can't park on the street on there, but it would definitely not, it would become a nuisance and a hazard for the city to allow them to park on that street.
I understand. I'm just trying to find something that says that if we make a decision based on safety,
I think
For
the
example.
The liability would be high of somebody running into it at nighttime on that street, because it is we enforce the speed, doesn't mean it slows them down.
all right, thank you.
You have any more questions for me?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
see there, too.
Trent, parking is in code 1010.
10-10? Not 7, okay. Or 6. 10-10.
Well, you might look where you were going, but I was just letting you know that's where I'm looking.
I don't see the way.
Make it to where
Yeah. So what's this over here?
that's gonna be the 7 feet, the variance.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Proceed real quick, if we have anything on the parking.
You say that it's gonna be you and your brothers. How many of you have a vehicle? How many vehicles do you have? Just one vehicle?
But what's it saying they have,
What's that?
but what's it saying later on down the road?
Yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah.
Make the parking in the back.
Well, and that's what the issue is, you know, that is a safety hazard, you know, if there were a fire, and that's what this gentleman brought up, you know, that it could interfere with the fire department getting back there. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, we won't actually be, there's enough room, there's enough room to be within the property lines for a single vehicle for certain, 100% certain. In the 15, the wedge of the backyard essentially, at B15, I think the average vehicle is 8 foot or less. So there's plenty of room to have enough, you know, if we do a gravel driveway or something of that nature.
If you merge it right into the alleyway.
It'd be completed out of the alleyway. It will not affect the alleyway.
So are you gonna pave the back, or are you gonna
We'd probably just do a gravel.
gravel?
That's what the alley is.
Yeah, it's just, we'd match, it'd be equivalent to the alley. It wouldn't be paved, but it would be crusher and 3/4 inch base rock, you know, or clean,
Right,
whatever,
Yeah,
probably
that-
clean.
That alley's kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so,
yeah,
but there would,
yeah.
one vehicle in the back, there would be no issues with it being in the alley. The alley would be 100% usable.
Okay,
There has to be 20 feet between wherever one vehicle parks, between that outside tire to the opposite side, to any obstacle that could be on the other side, like a telephone
so there's
pole.
just no way,
There's telephone poles on that side and some other things. I'm not saying that there might be a place, I can't remember it directly.
well, it's only 14 feet from the farthest end of the property, it's only 14 feet, and it angles, so it comes down to 6 feet.
15.
It's 14 feet on the farthest part and 6 feet on the shallowest part, so that would rule that out. That's not
Yeah,
20
here.
feet.
No space in there, it's 30 feet, so it's gonna be.
Sure,
Yeah.
This is the actual backyard.
Okay.
And when you said the obstacle, I just want to make sure, so that would be this corner pin right there. And you said it'd be 20 foot to the nearest obstacle.
Like that telephone pole to
So-
here, 20 foot, you know,
So, yeah, it looks like
if there's parking.
I'm pretty certain we could clear that. Cause it's saying 20 foot, it's a 20-foot wide alley. So from that, from this pin, as long as we're within the, you know, within the property line, we should be 20 feet away from that telephone pole. And then there's clear driving straight out. You know, if, in the case of an emergency.
If you can show them the same thing, that'd be fine.
So this T-post right here, this is essentially this corner. And whenever he was saying 20 foot to the nearest obstacle, that tree is plenty far away. And then this would be the nearest telephone pole right here. And it's a 20-foot wide alley.
Or something else.
So as long as we keep the vehicle within the T-post, we will match, or we will be 20 foot. away
within
from
the,
Yeah, we will fall- We
regulations.
will fall in that regulation.
okay.
And then, like I said, we will make equivalent, if not maybe a little bit better than that.
But what are we doing about the slope of that, because the slope is,
Residential.
all, this is a slope.
Talks about an approved driveway.
So you
A
can't
slope
even,
as in,
you can't
Angles-
even.
It angles
the angle-
down, so what does that angle
Yeah,
down
because
to?
to get 10 feet, you need 10 feet. So at least 10 feet to get a car in this way, or to get a car in, right? You can't use half of this, so then you're using right here. So are we gonna go this way, or are you doing this way?
I believe we go this way. It'd be long ways and there would be, it'd probably be like 12 foot right here. So you would have 15 foot there. It's almost perfect for one vehicle right here, but it is, like I said, pushing,
Can you pull that up again?
yeah,
Because what's on this property right here? Is there a fence here?
no. No,
But it's somebody's property, right?
yeah, that's the property line. We would not, I don't think it'd go past.
Well, then they'd have to be backing out. They'd have to be pulling in and backing out. You're not gonna be able to do.
Yeah, it would have to back out into the alley and take off like this. That would be the way.
Okay. Can you come up to the mic, please? Just so we can, so everybody can hear.
If they're talking about parking in back of the house, along the side of the alley, how do they get in the alley? Because my point is, access to that alley is not very nice. I mean, it's onto the church, or onto those other people. If you go out there and look at it, I know, because I mow it and I pull up through there all the time and into the alley. And so if they're gonna park back there, there's gonna be traffic. They're gonna have to come up into, I think, up into the church part or on the other people's property to get into the alley. And I
Yeah,
don't
is
know-
it public access?
I don't know what the alleyway right-of-ways are, but you
Yeah.
probably should consider it.
Yeah, I think that you need to go up into the church, right? To access, you need to go up into the church to access the alley, church parking lot to access the alley, right?
Unless you come the other way, right? You can come yeah. And go down the alley.
down the alley, but there again, we need to check with Bud as far as who's gonna maintain that whole alley, because you know, when it gets muddy and wet, and snow and falls. I know Buddy's crew is busy, he doesn't have time to maintain that alley and stuff on there. So if they come in from Northeast First Street, they're gonna maintain that whole driveway then.
Well, and didn't you say too that this was a flood, I believe that I saw that myself, that it was a flood zone,
Well, it's
right?
flood zone, it's in the X, Cheryl.
And X is not a flood zone.
Okay, okay.
I'll see if I can look that up and confirm that. I'm pretty sure that is correct.
You know, and I wonder, because I'm familiar with this, once you build the property, what's gonna happen, because we're known for flooding, what's gonna happen down the sides of both, you know, around, instead of flooding in the center, and like you said, it puddles there, what's gonna happen to these, because I believe there's a house on both sides, right? I don't know if the house to the south is occupied, but still, what's gonna happen there? I'm very concerned about
They would have
this.
to some way maintain that any water from their roof and yard would have to be maintained and could not go onto their neighbors.
Yeah.
Whether them digging out, putting French drains in,
Yeah.
putting something out to the road.
Are you the contractor? You're the builder?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, are you guys doing any of the building or anything like that?
No, it's just me and
Okay.
this man here.
The problem is down the road, say 10 years from now, they go sell it.
Yeah, and exactly. What I'm concerned about is the access in the front being so close to the road, you know, is there a safety factor there? You know, I don't know what the code is, what the ruling is, but I've gone and looked at this, and I'm very concerned about this.
I know the police department that have had chases on that road that have exceeded 90 miles an hour.
Well, and, you know, not only that, Elliott is, you know, it's a high-traffic area. That's a main thoroughfare there, so,
And
yeah.
I really anticipate the city in a few years wanting to widen it because to handle the traffic and stuff.
Yeah.
This road, but, you know, that's down the road, but it's.
Gonna be a lot of houses taken out.
Back of your mind.
Yeah.
May I it reminded me of something, you just reminded me about the widening. The easement that I got from the street department is 75 feet for Elliott Street in that area. So it's like 37.5 feet each direction from the center.
So there's,
Well, then this just can't happen, right?
It would put it pretty close to the front of the other houses, but at the same time, the other houses were grandfathered in and they were there prior to. all
Right,
those
exactly,
codes.
right.
Once we start giving variances to all these different exceptions, that we're gonna possibly be doing this all over town.
Yeah,
Well, I think the biggest issue that we're having is the safety issue.
yes,
That's the biggest thing. Is it the right thing to do to put a house there? And I'm even saying that size of a house. Because if you go down from 600 to 400 square feet, if you do something different, then you could maybe do something different with a driveway. You can make it to the side of the house instead of not any room at all. You understand what I'm saying?
But there was a house there.
It doesn't matter, it's no longer there, it doesn't fall under grandfather. So any house that's constructed now falls underneath the new codes that went into effect in 2019.
And I'm thinking that you might consider figuring out if there's a different way to shape the house in order to see, and it's actually an extremely small space,
yeah.
and you have the alleyway that is not maintained.
Well, and I want to point out here that 10.10.5 says parking location, off-street parking is prohibited in the front and side street setbacks areas of our zoning districts. I just have to say now that I'm not gonna approve this. There needs to be something else figured out.
Okay. So basically, as of right now, the only possibility is if we downsize, but then,
I mean, I don't know how they feel about it, but
I mean,
yeah, there's a big safety issue here, you know, as well as, you know, just things that we've talked about long-term, you know. And the fact that these other houses have been grandfathered in. I mean, if you go down there and you look at that, it really is a safety issue. And like they've talked about, they're considering widening the road there, so.
Well, you can't necessarily, we know that they're probably gonna widen the road, but that's not the issue, that's not necessarily the issue here. The issue is being able to get everything that you're wanting on your lot in with safety and staying away from hydrants and staying away from phone lines and other kind of lines.
I mean, I know it's a small building size anyway. Have you considered the fact of even making it smaller? I mean, I don't want to say no, I don't. Gosh, you know, I would like to work with you too, but
Yes, sir.
I was told, and I don't know that this is a fact, but I was told that I've got a 900 square foot rent house just north of this half a lot or whatever. But I was told that if that's something happened to that house, that there's no way that I can build back there. Now, like I said, I don't know that that's set in stone or whatever. But see, if I wanted to go back in, I'm gonna have to ask for a variance. And
You
I
would
don't
have-
know whether I can get a variance or not.
You would have to ask-
because of it, see?
You would have to ask for a variance because the way they currently have the rules set up,
Yes, sir.
that if you were wanting to do that, you would have to do the same process here.
I understand that, but the way I'm understanding it, there's no way they would give one with,
the regulations, the
Right.
codes.
Unless there's an exception, and that's why we have
oh,
this
I
for
understand.
the
that.
exceptions, right?
Yes, sir, I do understand.
But if people come and they want an exception, they should make it to where it's gonna be it's not gonna be something that's gonna be a second guess or a second thought of it being approved because of common sense, because there is a way in, there is a way out. The electric wires are taken care of. The property, there's enough space so you can open doors. You're not gonna hinder traffic on Elliott, for example. If you do that, then we can look at exceptions and we can say, yes, exception, even though it's an exception, we can see that working. But there's gonna be some cases, maybe this case, that doesn't meet that exception because it doesn't meet the common sense rule. It doesn't meet the safety rule. It's not going to be the desired outcome that they actually are trying to get.
Yes, sir.
And the city may or may not support it. So that's where we're at.
Okay. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
That's why we have these periodically. Anybody has any comment?
No, because you put a smaller house, yeah, you still have the same problem.
Well, if you put a 400 square and you take off 10 feet on the side, then you could put a drive there, and then you would have your 17 feet, so there could be reason for a variance, but I'm
So
just,
essentially, if we downsize the house, we have a better chance.
well, you're hearing the issues from everyone and the discussion. So I wouldn't necessarily go back and say, okay, we're hearing everything, if we can make this work, how do we make this work? And then if it was me, I'd probably be back in here with Plan B.
So let me ask you a question. Could they do 400 and 200?
The issue's going to be the square foot that you're taking up on the property, so they can go up.
Yeah, you could go up.
Now, if you go up, you change your side setbacks now.
Yeah, let me look at that.
Okay.
I believe that has to go to 15 feet.
Let me look.
I believe he's correct.
Okay, I just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
No, I appreciate it.
yeah, it does change it when you go two-story. That was RM. Take away the 5 one-story, yep.
He's your source.
It makes it 10, I believe.
I thought it was 2-story, had to be 15.
I know.
Well, where does it say it?
I do believe duplex is 10 versus 2-story, then 5 if you're single story, cuts it down. I'm not sure. We're at 7 though, so we'd have to ask for yet again another variance if we were to 2 stories. So, but, and so on and so forth.
Okay, any other discussion?
You-
So do I hear a motion to exit the public hearing?
Motion.
No, you're just, on your discussion, you're making a motion to approve or a motion to deny.
Okay.
And we'll have to do it by variance, because he has 1 and 2. So you'll have to make a motion to approve 1 or deny 1, and a motion to approve 2 or deny 2.
Okay. So what you said. We have a motion, do we have a motion for the first variance? Variance from front property
And
from
you'll have to
25
state how you want your motion to read.
to 11 and state your recommendation.
Well, if it's about denying, then I didn't have to deny it, I'm sorry.
So your motion for number 1, the variance for the 25 feet to 11 feet, your motion is to deny.
Yeah.
Do I have a second to
One
that?
second.
All in favor of denying?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion 2, variance for back of property from 20% setback due to the angle of the rear property line. Do I have a motion to be for or against?
Against again.
Second?
Second.
All in favor of denying the second motion?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so this measure is denied based on the reasons that we said.
You do have a right to appeal to council. I don't remember how many days it is, but if you call me tomorrow, I can tell you how many days you have the right if you choose to appeal. I can tell you that.
You know, and I agree that, that hopefully we can figure something out. I don't want you guys not to be able to build there, but we've got to figure out something, you know, that everybody agrees with.
Number 6, discussion of possible action, public hearing for Luke Swift for 2 variances, the rear setback, and that has been done. And make a motion to adjourn.
No, we're still on, you have a second page.
Second page?
Yeah, we haven't done the second one.
Okay.
Mr. Swift would like his taken care of.
All right, sorry, all right. Okay, so enter a public hearing. I have a motion to enter a public hearing.
Motion to end the public hearing.
Second,
Second,
okay. Applicant Luke Swift for 2 variances, rear setback for lot 4 from 20 feet to 14.17. Second is going to be the rear setback from lot 5 from 20 feet to 14.17. Legal north tract, the north half of lots 4 and 5 in block 33B of the Whitaker addition to the incorporated town of Pryor Creek, Mays County, state of Oklahoma, according to the official's recorded plat and survey thereof, filed for the record in the office of the county clerk, and said county and state, contains .01581 acres, more or less. South tract, the south half of lot 4 and 5 in block 33B of Whitaker addition to the incorporated town of Pryor Creek, Mays County, state of Oklahoma, according to the official recorded plat and survey thereof, filed for record in the office of county clerk of said county and state, contains .1581 acres, more or less, at 15 South Aura and 17 South Aura. Anybody need to speak for this motion?
I'm Luke Swift, the property owner. So I had these lots flipped to a north and south tract. I honestly didn't realize the lots were a little smaller and they wasn't going to meet setbacks. So I meet all the street side setbacks. It's just the rear setback that doesn't meet. It's a 3-bedroom, 2 house. I have one of them. A woman's already agreed to purchase this house. It's the size house she wants. She's fine with the yard being a little smaller in the back. So I tried to look to see if I could make the house a little smaller, but the 3-bedroom, 2 baths are what really sell a little bit better. I'm just gonna be honest. So
Sure.
that's kind of what I was going for. So these are 2 basically identical houses, but yeah, the alleyway, the street side, all those setbacks meet. It's just that back setback.
did you build that house across the street from that?
So the flip, or I call it flip house. Yeah, that house
Okay.
I
Okay,
flipped
okay.
it. So I had the lot to the north of there, but I recently sold it. So 3 houses was too many to do it with.
Okay.
So that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Because the lots originally went north and south, you changed them east-west on there, and that's where our problem comes in for the rear setbacks now, on that.
okay, so we just switch the angles.
Yeah, he's wanting to lay them east-west or on, or, where the front will be. Originally, those lots were running north-south on there, so he just asked to change it. And that's where we don't meet our 20% for the rear.
Do you have any
Because those
issues with that?
lots were narrower back there.
Do you have any issues with that?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any issues with the switch?
I don't know of any utility easements or anything that's running there. We don't have anything, again, what we've been presented, we don't show anything as far as utilities there. So I don't know of anything. There is an old storm shelter that's on the south lot.
I think he probably took it out
They're
already.
going to be taking it out, or
Yeah.
if they haven't already, I
Yeah.
was told it was going to be removed.
Yeah.
On there. But as far as I can remember, the sides and stuff, it's been a while since I looked at the plans. It's hard to keep up with all that, but I believe everything was okay. It was just the rear that we were having issues with, and I don't know. I'm thinking the gas will be there on Orr, water, and I'm not sure about the sewer where
Here,
it
if you
will run
want to look
to.
at it. He did meet, I believe.
Yeah, but it doesn't show us any as far as where Mo has the water, sewer, and gas, but, that would be worked out.
Right.
What we need to do, for that there, but getting into was being that he flipped it.
Yep, sorry.
Sorry, here's where the lots were running north to south, and he flipped it and went this way, east-west.
Okay.
So that's what created the issue with the back 20% of that.
Drove by there, and I think it's okay, if there's no codes that, you know, he's violating, or, you know,
Yeah, there could always be something that pop up that we don't know about. But,
okay,
it's the same thing here where they said no easements were supplied and stuff.
okay.
I wish the
Surveyor,
Yeah.
yeah.
Put on there that no easements in this area or something,
Yeah.
I'm always worried that sometimes, they get it built and come to find out, oh, that's over sewer easement or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little bit too late.
Yeah.
And this is about the rear easement, right?
Yes, the
Okay.
rear easement, so here's gonna be our Orr Street here. Here's the front, but it's just right here where he's at 14 feet versus the 20%, which a 100-foot lot, that's how we get our 20 feet. So
Okay.
roughly 6 foot is what they're short on the rear. If they turned them this way, you'd have plenty in the rear, but then your sides kind of smash down just a little bit. So this is the reason why he turned it and was trying to make the lots a little bit bigger, but the depth wise because of 50/50.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Any other conversations?
I'm good. I
Okay.
think it's okay.
Need a motion to exit the public hearing?
Motion to exit public hearing.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
So, number 6, discuss the possible action of public hearing for Luke Swift for 2 vacancies on the rear setback of Lot 4 from 20 to 14.75 or 17, and Lot 5 from 20 to 14.17. Do I have a motion to vote yes or no?
we'll have to do those separately also, so
Okay.
number 1, you'll have to do number 1, whether you vote to approve.
Approve. One.
Okay.
So Stacy is to approve.
Is there a second?
Yes.
to-
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye. Second motion is rear setback for Lot 5 from 20 to 14.17 feet.
I approve.
Okay, Stacy to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay, motion has been approved. Okay. So that completes our mission. So have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.